What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor from Trading Stoically, and if you don't know, I am an unprofitable trader trying to become a profitable trader. And these market conditions are absolutely grinding my gears. No, these, I sound like Charlie or Penguin Zero. I don't know if you guys have heard of him before. Moist Critical. Um, but no, like these market conditions have been very, I don't even want to, I think they've been frustrating to trade, but I'm not frustrated. Like I lost today, completely fine. We took one trade and I thought it was going to go well. We were adding to the position, doing everything we were supposed to do. We were in profit at some point and then ends up coming back and I end up getting stopped out. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys take a look at gold, especially during Asian session, I mean, I'm going to go over the trade recap, but man, it is extremely frustrating to trade. I haven't even checked ES or NQ at all, but I kid you not. From when I looked last week and looking at gold today, it has just been so difficult to trade. Now, some people excel in these types of market conditions, and I actually believe that the way I was trading earlier in the year, like how I'm always making sure that if it's at value area high, then I sell. If it's at value area low, then I buy. I think would actually do much better than the way I have been trading now. Um, but for myself, it's very difficult to just kind of switch mindsets and be like, okay, like we need to just change our trading strategy up. Not even changing your strategy up, but changing our style, right? In order to be able to match the market. The market is kind of like a dance, right? Where you're dancing with your partner, girl or guy, whoever, and you're trying to match their flow, match their rhythm, match their steps. And if you're not doing so, you're going to continue to butt heads with them, trip over them, and then you're going to end up losing, right? So maybe it's one of those things that I have to be able to adjust to what the market is doing and then say, hey, you know what? I got to trade in a different style, still the same strategy, but a different style of implementing it in order to be profitable in these types of markets. But the other thing that you also have to realize too is that if you're always strategy hopping, you're always changing your strategy just because the market is a little bit different, then you're never going to be profitable long term, right? So every single trade that I take is based on my strategy and my rules, as long as I'm not being emotional or tilting. And if I'm doing that, then I don't really have any qualms about myself losing. In fact, even though that these market conditions are frustrating, like you're literally looking at every tick and every print of a candle and you're like, bro, what is going on? Like, even though that's occurring, when I lose, like when I lost on this Thursday and I lost today, I don't really care. I just know that, hey, it's a standard loss. It is what it is. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Because I know that when I come back and I take a good trade, it's going to wipe out these losses and then hopefully go further than them. You know what I mean? So I'm not really concerned. Now, obviously, one caveat to this is the account we took the payout on. We have about $860 in drawdown left, right? So that's for myself, that's about a full loss. If I take like a full loss, a full $750 loss, then this account is pretty much done. So we'll see how things go tomorrow. If we take a trade, then hopefully it's a winner. If it's not, then maybe the account is done. But the account has done its job, right? I still have another account to activate too. We will be buying a 150K combine, and I will also too be probably buying another 50K combine just to have. Um, but we can talk about that as the year goes on or as the year ends. So, but yeah, let's go over this trade. This trade, look at this, right? So the reason why I love this trade, in fact, let me put executions on. My executions are kind of crazy, and I have to be completely honest with you guys. I was a little bit unprepared. The reason why I was unprepared was because I was cooking my bourbon chicken, right? We have a Christmas party coming up tomorrow at work. and I looked at the clock and it was 8:01 by the time I came back to the market. By the time it was 8:01, we had printed this candle here, and then we had started on this one on 8:02. So I just started adding because that's exactly what I was waiting for, right? Coming into the market today, I was like, we are in chop, right? But overall, we are long-term bullish. Not long-term bullish, but we are immediate-term bullish on the 5 minute, and also too, the 15 minute. You can say that we're bearish, right? But because of the way that we've been bouncing here and then this candle printing as well, um, I really, really thought that okay, we can at least come up to prior week point of control and then maybe come back down. So immediate term I was bullish, right? Whether that's right or wrong, it is what it is. I believe it was right? Because here you have this double bottom, down here you're bouncing. Of course, you're kind of coming low, but then you have this huge candle on such high volume. I mean, that is significant volume, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Of course, this is the first minute candle. We continue to play it, right? Not only do we get to priority value area high, we come back down to VWAP, have a nice hammer candle on high volume. So that's how I trade. This is my strategy. Now, of course, you can say, well, this is priority value area high. This is current session value area high. Why are you buying up there? I completely get it. And I think myself from a few months ago would be like, bro, what are you doing, right? Wait for it to come back down to value area low. But like I've said, the one thing that I struggled earlier on this year in trusting is this bounce of the VWAP play, which has worked extremely well. I just never trusted it. So I trusted it here, bounce off of VWAP. Love the play here. Again, we have a ton of executions, but just know that we're buying this general area here, right? Average price entry was this middle entry point. I think it was like 220, 224 or something like that. I can't remember anymore, but that's where we decided to add. Stop loss initially was down here at 218, about 217.7. We tightened it to 218.8 and we tightened it again as we continue to add more to 220.1. Really good stop loss placement as well. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not frustrated with these losses, right? Because the losses are just like they're just a part of the game. So from that point on, yes, we're bumping heads against prior day value area high, but we bounce off of VWAP not once but twice, come up, end up breaking out here. I do understand most breakouts fail, but this momentum here was like, well, at least I know we're not coming back down here, right? So I thought. However, we were hugging VWAP, hugging VWAP, hugging VWAP. Of course, we're also butting heads with prior day value area high. I understand that, right? But again, you are on support. This is a bullish move. This is a bull flag. That's everything you need to know to be like, okay, cool. Every single time it came down to VWAP, we bounced. We just needed buyers to come in, increase volume, push it higher. But that never happened. Instead, what happened was we played a long game of chicken. I mean, look at that too. Look at this. As soon as this happens, boom, rejection off high volume, right? We're looking for follow through. There's no follow through. We come back down once, come back up, down, down, down. And from then on, that's when I stopped myself out on this candle right here, right? Significant volume down, breaking these areas right here too, right, of support, breaking VWAP for support as well, and the rest is history. We just end up heading lower. Now, the one thing that I've kind of talked about, well, first let me say this. This is frustrating. This chop is terrible. It is what it is, right? On a normal day, if gold wants to start, you know, being like how it was earlier in the year, this bull flag, you have a breakout, you break prior week value area low, you end up heading higher to prior week point of control at some point, right? You have strong momentum, buyers are stepping in, they're buying, and they want to sell at a really good point, right? That's normally what would happen. But obviously, you're having this weird pattern where you go up, you chop, and then you come back down. what can you do in that situation? Again, like I said, if I want to change my style, I can say, you know what? This is where we sell, this is where we buy, right? But the second thing I was going to say too is one of the things that I've been learning from Tom Hugard in The Best Loser Wins is not being afraid to take a second trade, right? Now, I'm still not at that point where I'm like, yeah, taking a second trade is good, just because of the fact that I'm like, I feel like that messes with my psyche. I came into the day, into the session, with a game plan of heading in a certain direction. So if I'm getting stopped out, one, that tells me that I was wrong, right? And two, that tells me my original thesis is not playing out. So for me to just reverse on that, in my head, I would still be like, well, I'm in another trade. My original thesis can still play out. Maybe my stop loss was too tight. Maybe my stop loss placement wasn't good. Like that kind of thing would enter my mind. So as this trade stopped me out, as I stopped out and I locked my account, mentally in my head, I was like, if I had my reverse position button, which you can see here, I've taken it off because earlier this year I used to click the reverse position button like no tomorrow. What I would have done is I actually would have just reversed the position because again, like I said, my stop loss was actually down here. But I stopped myself out knowing that okay, if we're breaking these levels on significant volume, then I know I'm wrong, right? So obviously it wants to bounce, right? It's just a small pullback, but in reality we end up heading lower. Bounce off prior day point of control, right? It's not a fake bounce, but it's not gonna head any higher in that direction, and then boom, we just sell off, right? So I was like, if I take a reverse position here, or if I take a second trade here, stop loss is up here, right? It's a good trade, and obviously it would have worked out. So maybe that's something in 2026 I add to my repertoire, add to my arsenal, and just say, you know what, like, okay, this is what we're doing, but in the meantime, for right now, I am completely comfortable with the fact that I just take one trade a day and then that's it. I know a lot of people, and I think this is just a common thing on Top Step, a lot of people will look and say, wow, you took 16 trades, you're over trading. I've gotten that comment time and time again. But no, this was one trade. I just add. So today you can see on my executions, I was just adding singles, single, 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 single. Like literally you can see here my number of contracts, one. So I'm clicking buy, 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 buy. That's literally what I'm doing, and on Top Step, that's what happens where it equates to um it equates to each trade that you're taking there is one single trade. So it says 16, but obviously it's not 16. It's just one trade. But yeah, guys, definitely. Again, like I said, I'm not frustrated. I don't even really care about the loss. Like the loss does not bother me whatsoever. In fact, I'm just ready to go to bed. But I'm like, I look at this price action. I'm like, what a waste of time. What a waste of an hour of my life. But no, again, it's good experience too. But I'm really not frustrated at all. I know it can be frustrating to watch the market play out like that. And these market conditions are definitely not easy to trade. So again, like I've been saying these last couple days, like if you are struggling in this market, you are not alone. I am having a difficult time with obviously I had a good week last week, but it's still been tough. Like these last three trades I have taken have not been easy. Even this day was a green day. Like there was no follow through that day. Normally there would have been, and this trade or this win would have been much larger, but I knew that I'm like, okay, you know what? Like I'm just taking my profits quickly because I just don't see it continuing. And it reversed, right? So it hasn't been easy. Please don't be down on yourself if you feel like it's been tough, right? If you're sticking to your rules, you're blowing your account, it's okay. Like you'll bounce back. The market conditions will get better for your strategy. There are other people who are also doing really well in these market conditions. That's awesome. So keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing, right? But yeah, anyway, guys, this marks day one. Day one of the 12 days of Christmas trading challenge that I've set out to you guys every single day for the next 12 trading days, sticking to your rules, doing everything you're supposed to be doing, um, and just making sure that you're heading into 2026 as a profitable as a setting yourself up to be a profitable trader in 2026. Like there's really no excuse if you're not sticking to your rules, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You gotta do it because if you don't, this time next year, I promise you, you're gonna be in the same spot that you're at right now, right? Again, I'm really talking to myself because this is my own journal, but I really do mean it to the rest of you guys, whoever's still watching at this point. Like, you have to make sure that you're doing the things that will set you up to be successful. It's really as simple as that. If you're not doing it, you're not going to be successful. So, anyway, guys, I am about to go to sleep. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the trading week. Hopefully, you guys are doing well and staying safe in your lives. Hopefully, you guys are trading well and staying out of this chop. And yeah, keep trading stoically.